Yes, what's happening? We are live. Welcome to another Talk to Me Tuesday. Today's gonna be one-on-one conversations. I want to see about inviting some people on. Probably gonna be primarily on like TikTok, but inviting some people on, having some conversations, and talking a little bit. Again, like I said, the purpose of this Talk to Me Tuesday or any Talk to Me Tuesday is really for you to talk to me. I'm nobody special. I'm just a guy named James who just so happened to get on the internet on Tuesdays and like to have conversations with folks and hoping these conversations can be productive. We can go somewhere with this and have some fun. If nothing else, you can get a few things off your chest. We can talk about life a little bit, mano y mano, you know what I mean? And see what's good, see what's happening on your side of town, what's happening in the world. I do see a segment over there for inviting guests, invite another creator to co-host and make a new friend. We're gonna do that. We're gonna see whoever gets in here, we are going to invite him in. Michael Payne. Michael, you're the first person to come through. Look like you're gone already. If so, you know what I mean? That is what it is, man. But if you're still hanging around and you want to come through and chop it up and talk with your boy for a little bit, let's do that. Let's move this a little closer. I don't want to have to use my glasses. I can see from right about here. But yeah, I got some questions that I think would be pretty good to talk about and act. So we're gonna see what we got. I don't know, should I maybe comment and post it in here? Let me see. Time messages. I don't know if I could put it in on there. Interact, text poll, draw questions, lightning Q&A. Let's see what happens when I press that. Nah, that's not it. Can we edit this? Discuss with your viewers. Can you help me get the team? That wasn't even one. Is it like a roll of the dice? Okay. Well, hey, I guess you find out about everything differently. Something new every day. So what you over there talking about? I know you know I'm on the camera, so you over here like, let me say stuff. Because usually you be quiet when you be playing. Anyway, so we're talking. Daniel, appreciate you coming through. STG Reaper, appreciate you coming through. Oh, what's going on over here? YouTube, what's that? Yadira, hey, what's going on? Is it Shane? Shane 36. Shane, what's going on? What's happening over there? Yadira and your baby. He chilling. He right there playing Apex in the background already. Dariana, message redacted. Oh, come on, don't redact the message. Bring it back. Nah. But yeah, no. So today I'm trying to have a little bit of a interpersonal conversation with some folks. We over here on TikTok and you guys over there on YouTube. And I just wanted to ask some questions. I don't know if you could do the same thing on YouTube. If you can, somebody, let me know how that works. Because I believe on TikTok, you can just invite people in. But I want to, try to invite people, actually have some real conversation with some folks and ask some personal questions. I mean, I guess we'll leave it open because, people can say stuff in the chat too. Why is it saying message redacted on everybody now? That's crazy. But I got this list of questions here on my other phone, and we'll talk to them then. Goonbug, what's going on? Appreciate you coming through. Isaac, appreciate you for coming through. And let's put the first question out there, man. Let's see. This first question was, What's something you wish people checked in with you about more often? What's something that you wish that people checked in with you about more often? Um, and you guys can let me know down in the comments, but uh, I guess in no specific order, I'll answer that question myself. David, appreciate you coming through. Hey, David, if you're down for it, you know what I mean. Uh, what I'm doing is I'm inviting folks in to have a conversation. I want to have an actual conversation with somebody this time, and it'll be fun. We'll get to know about each other. You get a chance to say what's going on and what's happening in your life on your side of town. Sul Portuguese, Sal Portuguese. I'm assuming that's saying I'm Portuguese, and if so, que pasa? You know what I mean? What's going on over there in Portugal? Hopefully the weather's nice over there. On this side of town, everything's good. We in the mid 70s today, so hey, no complaints over here for me. But yeah, I'm trying to get some folks in on the conversation. So by all means, so do Portugal. Yeah, they look like the flag. All right, cool. Yeah. But yeah, so first question I had here was, what is something you wish people checked on with you more often about? Honestly, if I was to be answering this candidly, I'll probably say the thing that I wish that people checked on me more about is probably how I'm doing, like, spiritually. Like, how's my walk with Christ? He said Brazil. Hey, hopefully everything's good over there in Brazil. But yeah, I would say my walk with Christ. I think that, I don't know, there's not enough checking in with folks on each other about what's going on and what's happening in their life. It's real easy to just casually say, everything's cool. Cause, oh shoot. Man, I hate that that's happening over there on TikTok. Give me 1 second, guys. I think my mic is dead over there on TikTok. Let me grab the other one. I know that be happening sometimes, man. Hate when that happens. Good thing it's 2 mics. So let's see. All right. I think we back green. All right. If y'all can hear me still over there. Mary, appreciate you liking the live. Appreciate you joining the live, coming through, hanging out. December Kai, appreciate you coming through. Yo, so the question was, and I genuinely would like to know, if you can take the time, you got the freedom and you're able to put it down there in the comments, about you. I want to know about you. So if you could answer this question, let me know. What's something that you wish people checked in with you more often about? And I was saying that I wish the people checked in maybe a little bit more often on how I'm doing spiritually. I think that's probably the most important thing that people don't check in with you for more on. And I think it's usually because nobody wants anybody else to check in with them about how they doing spiritually. Bubba, what's going on? Appreciate you coming through. But yeah, I mean, honestly, my prayer life don't be, I think, as deep as it could be or should be. I think I don't know as much scripture as maybe I could or should know. And because of that, I don't know. I guess I wish that people would check a little bit more and just ask, how's things going with you, with your spiritual walk? Are you still being faithful? Do you need prayer? Things like that. The type of menial seeming groundwork that most people just casually don't do or don't engage in. And so if I was answering that question honestly, that's what I would say. That's what I would say. So you let me know. I would love to hear from you, TikTok, YouTube. What's something that you wish people checked in with you more often about? All right, so let's go to the next question. What kind of stuff makes you feel most you? Um, like what type of stuff makes you feel more like yourself, most like yourself? Braden, appreciate you coming through. Hameson, appreciate you coming through. What type of stuff makes you feel more like yourself? Uh, I think it's when I'm like really engaged in conversation with somebody. Like I think it's I think even I underestimate how much I really enjoy having conversations. What's up, baby? I think I even underestimate how much hold on, y'all. Spam likely is calling. I enjoy having conversations with people. Son, that's not mommy. That was spam. But like when you actually get the opportunity to have a genuine heart-to-heart conversation with people, I think it kind of like brings out the best in both of you. Like some of y'all know, some of y'all don't know. I drive for Lyft for a living, right? And so I have random encounters with people all the time. And I usually say some of the same stuff in conversation almost every time, just because it's a repetitive thing. You know, you get in the car, how everybody asks how everybody's doing. You know, most people at the work, people at the school, a lot of blase blah, yada yada yada, right? But every once in a while, you know, somebody says something that's genuine and sincere, and then you kind of pick that apart a little bit and kind of see what's going on and what's happening in that person's life. Sometimes they're struggling with something. Sometimes they need a little bit more encouragement. Like I think something that people often say when I'm speaking to one of my passengers, something they'll often say, they'll be like, "What is that? What?" I ask them, how they doing. They're like I'm good, and they'll say something like, "I can't complain," right? I'm sure you guys have heard that. People say that pretty often. They say, "I can't complain," or "There's no sense of complaining anyway." And I think people usually say that because I don't know, they're just used to keeping stuff to themselves. People aren't used to being open and transparent. And hold on. Mikhail, what's going on? What's going on, Mikhail? My bad. Appreciate you coming through, bro. Good to see you. Hopefully everything's good with you. Um, but yeah, no, I think most people, keep everything that's going on and happening in their life inside. And so I had a passenger that was kind of saying something like that today, like there's no sense in complaining. And I don't know, I was telling her like, well, I think most people don't complain because complaining doesn't really change anything. But one thing that complaining does do is it allows you to get what's on your chest off of your chest and allow somebody else to kind of bear that burden for you and with you a little bit, right? And I don't know, she kind of like agreed with that. And I remember I said something to her. And she thought I was talking about a person. But I don't know. I think I probably mentioned something about like serotonin or something, right? And about how oxytocin, one of them, serotonin, oxytocin, the feel good chemicals is in your body, whatever, right? Hold on, Crystal, appreciate you coming through. 5 stars, thank you for coming through. Just join what we talking about. Ricky, what's going on? We was talking about the second question of the day. What was it? So when do you feel most like yourself? And hold on, let me read this comment here on YouTube. I bet you meet some interesting characters doing that job. Yeah, you do, man. Most people pretty chill. Most people pretty chill. Every once in a while, somebody acting fool. I mean, like literally like 1 in 1,000. But when that 1 in 1,000, you remember. I got some crazy stories, and maybe I'll touch on that in a second. But the question was, when do you feel most like yourself? And I was saying that for me personally, I feel most like myself when I'm having a conversation with somebody, because I think the gift that God gave me that I'm most good at is encouragement. Could be because, I like and appreciate encouragement, but at the same time, I think that everybody needs a little bit of encouragement. And so because of that, um, whether I ever get the specific encouragement or not, which I believe I will, because God supplies everything that everybody needs. And on occasion, I do get some encouragement and stuff like that. And so that's cool. But I love being an encouragement to others, right? And so when she said that, just like I said, most people say that um, they say nobody complaining doesn't do anything. There's no sense of complaining and something of that sentiment. And I'm just like, bro, like, I get where you're coming from, but the reality is that everybody needs to vent. Everybody has stuff that's on their chest that they want to get off, that they wish somebody else in the world actually cared about. And so me being me, I don't know. I just like to hear the concerns of what's going on in people's hearts, and then to have conversations with those people about those concerns that's going on in their hearts. So that's why I'm doing this. That's why this whole Talk to Me Tuesday even exists. If you wonder what the TTmT stands for on there, it's Talk to Me Tuesday, because it's Tuesday. And it's, I mean, what are we doing? We on the internet, we scrolling, we looking at videos. You could do that. You could do that. Or we could actually have a conversation. We could talk about stuff that's important or unimportant, because, I mean, life is serious enough, and sometimes you just want to let your hair down and just it be whatever, Jaden and Derek, appreciate you coming through. But yeah, so let's talk. If you're there, leave it in the comments. If you want to join up here on TikTok, I don't know if you can do that on YouTube. If you want to join up though, by all means, join in. You know what I mean? Send me the invite. I'll invite you on. We'll have a real conversation, but let's go to the next question. In the meantime, maybe somebody want to put some in the comments about this one. So what's something you've had to unlearn? What's something that you used to believe or live by that you totally changed your mind about? Michael, appreciate you coming through. Not negative Nate, appreciate you coming through. Appreciate you not negative. You know what I mean? That's a good thing. But yeah, so let's answer the question, guys. Let's answer it. What's something you've had to unlearn, or something that you believe or live by that you totally changed your mind about? I'll say books. And I'm gonna pick books specifically because I hated books. I remember being in school, and I'm sure you guys got the same typical book list. They have you read stuff like The Big Friendly Giant, To Kill a Mockingbird. What's some of the others? Leave it down in the comments, y'all. What's some of the other books that they make you read in school that, like, I don't know. I don't know. It didn't relate to me. It didn't mean anything to me. It didn't resonate with me. And I wasn't like a really avid reader. I wasn't a good reader. I'm an okay reader. I think my reading skills is decent. I could read these comments if y'all leave some, but other than that, I don't read a whole bunch, or at least I didn't. But now I understand the values that are in books. I understand that books can change your mind and your perspective if you're reading something that's actually of value or substance to you, or you think will be a substance to others, right? For instance, the book that turned it all around, that changed everything as far as me reading or finding or even thinking that there is values in books, was this one book that had to get recommended to me 7 times. It had to get recommended to me 7 times in order for me to actually read it. And it was this book called by Robert Kiyosaki, called Rich Dad Poor Dad. Maybe you heard of it, maybe you haven't, maybe you read it, maybe you haven't. If you read that book, I'm sure you was thinking some of the same things that I was thinking, which was I can't believe that all of this stuff actually is true. It was the first time that I had ever heard from anybody's mouth that all of the stuff that I was being taught wasn't necessarily the right things, or things that were going to specifically be applicable to me in life. And I don't know. The concept of the book was that the kid, well, when he was a kid, when Robert Kiyosaki was a kid, he had his rich dad and his poor dad, and his rich dad was his best friend's dad, and the guy he called his poor dad was his dad. Now, his actual dad was not poor; he was actually a secretary of schools, but he was talking about his mindset and how he thought of and handled money. And I don't know, it's crazy to think that there's people with money that have a poor mindset about money, and then there's people with money who have a, I don't know, what is a good mindset about money? I don't know. Hold on, what we got there? Sola scriptura and sola fide for me. I had to unlearn coming out of Protestantism into the Catholic Church. Not to make a religious convo, and bro, that's completely fine. I'm completely fine with talking about Christ and the Bible. Like that's like number one subject right there that I enjoy talking about. But you said you had to come out of Protestantism into the true Catholic Church. Man, I wish we could have a conversation to unpack that a little bit more, to hear further in depth about, what that was and what that was like. And also challenge myself to see what knowledge I actually know and have about it. I do know Protestant has to do with the Reformation of the church, as far as who was it? Was it Martin Luther? Not Martin Luther. Was that the name? I can't remember what his name was. Is it Martin Luther? But anyway, he basically, what was it? Rebelled against the Catholic Church in regards to them having teachings that weren't in the line with Scripture or something like that. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I understand about the Protestant movement. And you said into the true Catholic Church. But if you can expound on that a little bit more, that'd be cool. Said Bree, Sora. Wait, I'm probably saying that wrong. But Bree, what's going on? Appreciate you coming through. Ankles, what? Ankles yoinked. Heard. Michael Tucker, LJ Chicken. Appreciate y'all coming through over there. So the biggest reason for me is that the Protestant worship doesn't resemble the heavenly worship that John saw. Protestant churches don't have altars and Protestant churches don't have altars and incense like in the vision John had. And yes, Martin Luther, correct. Okay, cool. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, when you refer to John, I'm assuming you're talking about in Revelation, where he was writing the book of Revelation and the stuff that's in the book of Revelation. Where you're talking about the altars and the incense and stuff, but also, and you can correct me on that if I'm wrong, but also, as far as the altars and incense, I want to say that was kind of specifically in regards to the kind of like the end time prophecy, or when God's wrath began to reign and play itself out on the earth. I believe that's the part in scripture you're talking about in Revelations. But if I'm off on that, I mean, I could be off. I wish they had like a live duet, or maybe I had to invite you on somehow through some feature on here through live, or we can do it on TikTok, man, and just have a conversation about this stuff for real. But yeah, no, I appreciate you chiming in and telling me, what happened as far as, your testimony. Mikhail, yeah, appreciate you doing it. I'm just checking to see if I was reading that correctly. But yeah, so Florida Jet, Noah Combs, what's going on? Appreciate y'all coming through. But let's check out another question. You know, we got a little bit more time here. So, next question was, what do you want to be remembered for? If people could only remember one thing about you, what would you like it to be? If people could only remember one thing about you, what would you like it to be? What are you doing, my son? What are you doing? Now, don't mess with that, okay? Okay. It's gonna shake the camera. Oh no. What? Shake that camera side. That's a screw, baby. Here, come have a seat, okay, my son? Okay. Okay, right here. Cool. You okay? Okay. Okay, my baby. So what's up, guys? No. No? Heard. You heard that. He don't want to say what's up. Loving kindness is a good one for that question. I would say yeah. I mean, of course, who wouldn't want to be remembered for being loving and being kind, right? So good answer. I appreciate you, chiming in. Let me see. If people could only remember one thing about you, what would you want it to be? If people could only remember one thing about me, I would want them to remember that I cared. Whether that's family, friends, strangers, I don't know. For whatever reason, I just care. There's times where I try to stop caring, but I can't stop caring. That sounds crazy, but it's the truth. There's times when I'm mad at my wife and I'd be like, I don't care. Why? And I do care. There's times when I'm mad at my son. I'm like, I don't care. But I do care. Like, maybe not about that specific thing, but like, no matter how hard-hearted I find myself getting, I can't help but like bring myself back to some form of reasonable rationale and caring and remembering God's watching you and just caring. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know anybody that's on here. Mikhail, I don't know you. I care about you. I care about that you know Christ. I care about that you exist. I care that you don't die in your sins or anything like that. I just care. I mean, obviously, there's an extent because you don't know everybody, you can't see everybody, and you can kind of be like distance from what's going on and what's happening in real life, right? Like, I don't know, maybe it's just a desensitization, but people die all the time, right? Like, what is it? 150,000 people die every single day, right? That's the statistic. And I don't want to say I don't care because I do care, but I'm so far removed from it that it's not an immediate concern for me. If that was the case, you'd be crying all the time because somebody is always dying, right? I think death is extremely sad. I remember I went to a friend's funeral. This is maybe like a week or two ago, and I remember looking at them in the casket. This is an older guy. And he had some health problems. We went to go visit him not long before he passed away. And it looked like if he didn't start moving more at some point, he wasn't going to last much longer. And so, I don't know, we started, when I had heard the news, it wasn't as big of a shock to me because I was looking at his current situation and how he was doing at that time, right? And I remember being at the funeral, or at the wake, and he was laying there in the casket. And, I don't know why people always say like, oh, they look so good or they look so peaceful. I'm like, I don't know. To me, it's like a stiff body. And so while looking at this stiff body with no movement and no breath in his lungs, and I just remember thinking like, dang, Like, our bodies are literally just a shell for our soul. The mind is our soul. Like, it's just there, a lump of clay, you know? And I remember seeing that there wasn't any life in him and just thinking and feeling like, man, like, bro, this is the end for each and every person here on planet Earth. Felicia, appreciate you coming through. But this is the end result, is that we're going to all sit here in one of these, maybe in a casket, lifeless, breathless, and people grieving over us. And then we see what's on the other side, right? And I don't know. I think people don't spend enough time pondering or wondering about death, because if they did, they would want to know more about what's on the other side of it. Because, bro, we all gotta go. We all gonna be in somebody's ground somewhere on this God's green earth, and that's gonna be it. And to me, I mean, the best explanation for what's there or what's next or what's left for any of us is a what do you call it? I guess judgment with God, a meeting with God. Because I mean, you, just like the Bible says that only a fool would say in his heart that there is no God, right? And that's so obvious because, bro, like, look at everything around us. Like, we can build and create stuff with what's here, but like, we have a sun, we have oxygen, which both of them are vital for our life and our existence, right? And for both of those to exist continually and not running out, and nobody's dying because there isn't any sun or there isn't any oxygen. Like, bro, like, you have to know that somebody created all of this stuff. Let me see. At least believers won't perish and but have everlasting life. That is what I was alluding to, is that, like, bro, it's that important that you find out who Christ is and about this eternal life that you can have, because, bro, we're all going to die. And what a miserable ending for there to be if you die and that's it. Like, you die and then darkness and there's no existence or anything like that. Like, that's morbid to me. Like, who would want that? Like, when we have in our hearts to live forever, if we could have it our way, we want to live forever. We want to have everything we need. We would want to have friends, love, all the good things, compassion, hope, and all these things. We want all this stuff for eternity, and it's in our hearts to have it and to want it. But your belief and your hope is that you just die and that's it. You live this life. It wasn't up to par with what you had as far as hopes and aspirations for life to be. And then that's it. You die and there's nothing better else to look forward to. That's I just refuse to believe that a person who created the human body and the world as intricately as it is designed has no plans for his creation outside of living a life and then dying just because. Like, the non-believer doesn't even believe you die because of sin. They think you just die just because it's a time and you die and that's it. When there's a cause and effect for everything. If we were given life, then there has to be a reason that we're given death also. But that comes through understanding, seeking out wisdom, so that you can make that decision as to what you believe based off of information that you sought out. But we got so many distractions these days that nobody's taking, not nobody, that's an overstatement. a lot of people aren't taking the time to seek out and find out what the truth is. But I believe that there's a lot of people and there's a growing curiosity amongst people to find out and see what the truth is, which is why I don't know. I want to do something like what we're doing here. That's why I want to have like a Talk to Me Tuesday where we can come on here. We can have a dialect. We can talk about the Bible. We can talk about life in general and bro, just do life together. Because if it was possible, I'd do it in person. And maybe at some point, you know what I mean? That could be a real thing. Like just chop it up in person and just talk about what's happening. Yeah, atheism is moronic. Yeah, it's a foolish thing, but have a nice dream, no brother. Gotta dip out. Hey, I appreciate you coming through. Mikhail, appreciate you, man. Hey, you have a great night. You know, for whatever time you can come through, whatever amount of time anybody come through, it's appreciated by me, man. This ain't a mandatory thing. It's always optional, and so it's good to see folks and to have conversations with people that you know just want to talk. You know, life is life, so let's talk about it. You know, but have a great one, bro. Have a great night. If that's what time it is on your side of the world, you know what I mean. So yeah, that was last question that we just had. Let's do one more. We'll dip up out of here. What kind of love or friendship do you wish you had more of? Or what kind of relationships are you craving more of these days? What kind of relationships are you craving more of these days? You let me know, you know, for the couple folks I got, what you looking for these days. Me personally, I wish there were more men who were, I guess, extremely serious about doing God's will. That I wish there were more men who wanted to band together and make a brotherhood and was serious about it and about doing the work of God. I know that that's probably like a lot to ask for because I know, I mean, I got stuff like that that's in the works that I'm trying to do and build right now, right? But I just don't think that there's enough men taking that call seriously because for the most part, as men, we're passive about what our social responsibility is when it comes to taking initiative on the things that's important to God and it's important to us and our families. I don't know, simply put. So, I mean, to answer that question candidly about what kind of relationships that you're craving these days, I'm craving relationships with men who are like real serious about doing God's work and I don't know, who are open and candid about it and want to be held accountable for it. So, you know, that's that. I know a couple brothers. I know a couple. So, you know, I ain't saying there ain't none out there. I'm just saying that I wish I had more relationships with more men like those men that I do know. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to chop it up. We're going to end it right here. Hopefully this is decent enough content where I can put this out there and, you know, maybe see if I can get some folks to come and hang out with us in the future. But for those of you that did come through, spend a little time with your boy, I appreciate it. You know, I'm grateful for everybody who takes moments, seconds, minutes, hours out of their life to come and spend here with your boy. You know, it's been a real one. Hope y'all didn't mind my son in the background making noise with his cheese and stuff. And we'll be back here on Friday, Freestyle Friday, week 10. You know what I mean? We'll see how this go. See if maybe I could throw something new in there, or it'd just be the same cringe, crappy, you know, freestyles as always. But either way, you are welcome to join. You are welcome to join. Come through and hang out with your boy. So with that being said, y'all have a wonderful evening, you know, and I catch y'all on the next one. It's your boy, Dad the Rapper. James, aka Dad to Nobody. And it's been another Talk to Me Tuesday, week 10. Thank y'all for coming through, spending all that time with me. We are out of here. Peace.